What's up, everybody, and welcome to Weekday Wagers Live on our Weekday Wagers YouTube channel. I'm your host, Daniel Greer, and with me today is Mark Wallace. As always, we're doing our look back over the weekend. Today, it's all about Olympic hockey. We have to cover what happened with the women and their dominance, but also we now have the men. So all of USA stand up, and they cover the hockey world themselves. And I think, Canada is a little upset today. They have what I call, this is my petty machete day on a Monday for sure. We'll get into all of that, much more, but let's go ahead and not waste any time. We have our picks, but I got to talk to Mark first. What up, Marky Model?
Dude, I am loving that petty machete t-shirt. That is gold. That is gold. Hey, listen, what a great Olympics, especially for the women's and men's hockey team. Congratulations. And yeah, I do live kind of close to the Canadian border here in upstate New York, and it's what I thought was maybe the geese flying back north. It turns out it's just the sound of a lot of wailing. So yeah.
All right, that one got me. And as Nate G says, America, F yeah. I want to say the real word, but I'm afraid I might get in trouble. But yes, that was a fun game. And I don't watch a ton of hockey, even though I have been considered one of the best hockey cappers of all time when I do cap the games. And that is no cap, if you know. No, but I watched most of all of that game. I missed a little early into the first because I was getting some shut eye and I forgot that it was on that early. But it was such a fun game, and I even watched afterwards of all the celebration, the post game interviews. There's so much that I wanted to keep watching because it was so much fun. It was so enjoyable. Did it give you the feel good moment seeing the men win their gold medal?
You know, that game was so anticipated, right? And for me, it lived up to its billing and then so much more. There were so many different storylines happening. Johnny Gaudreau, not being there, and how much of an inspiration he was for the U.S. men's team.
Yeah.
But then it got time to play the game. And you could feel the tension between the two teams.
Yeah.
And because of the hockey rules for fighting, you saw both of them really stay restrained and disciplined. There were cheap shots and everyone's kind of taking their little, plugs here and there. But for the most part, these two teams really played disciplined hockey, stayed out of the penalty box, and really just took it to each other. And I think that was... it made the low scoring events that much more exciting, that much more intense. And my God, Connor Hellebuck. What?
He's a bad man.
He's a bad man. And he made a stick save falling backwards that should have been 99% of the time. That thing is a goal.
Yeah.
And he just made an incredible save, kept the U.S. in the game. And then you had Quinn Hughes losing a tooth to a high stick to come back and actually score the golden goal for the U.S. in overtime. A lot of dispute over how that game should have finished.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, should the gold medal game have finished on a 3-on-3 overtime?
Yeah.
So I can't wait.
Yeah, for sure. And
it was Jack Hughes.
It was Jack Hughes, yeah.
Not Quinn Hughes.
But if you look at his brother Quinn, who has been playing really good, he led the Americans in assists the entire tournament. He's the one that won the game against. Was it not Sweden, but is it Slovakia?
Slovakia.
No, is that who it was?
Yeah.
He won the game against them, and then now his brother Jack in the gold medal game wins it there, both in overtime. But both great, both great games. But those guys and that family winning, like those two brothers, but then the mom being a part of the women's U.S. hockey is awesome. And listen, and Nate's got us. He's saying it was Sweden, and so I know it wasn't the last game. It was the quarterfinals, I believe. Either way, whatever. It was Quinn. He had a game winner, and then it was Jack. But we're gonna get into all that much more. I want to get into the comments made by some Canadian players afterwards about the overtime, as well as everybody else. But that'll be what we talk more about after we give you our plays, because everybody's here for our bets. Why not go ahead and give them to you? So let's not waste any more time. Mark, you're up first. And who are you talking about?
Yeah, that's right. Listen, there's only 9 NCAA basketball games on the men's schedule for tonight, and 2 of them are huge games, which leaves us 7. And that's why I'm going with the team that everybody's talking about. That's right. I'm talking about Lamar. I can hear it now. Ooh, yeah. Listen, this matchup sets up well for Lamar because their strengths line up directly with Nichols' weaknesses. That's who they're playing, Nichols. Rob Lee Jr. is the go-to scorer for Lamar. He's putting up over 16.2 a night, and he's the one that can stretch the defense, knocking down over 2 threes a game. That matters because Nichols gives up points in bunches and ranks near the bottom nationally in defensive efficiency. The real difference here in this game is going to be on the inside, where Braden East, know that name, he's pulling down over 9 rebounds a game. And Lamar as a team is plus 4.8 on the glass this season. Nichols, they're 354th. There's 364 teams. They are 354th in the country when it comes to rebounding at just 27 a game. That's not a small gap. That is a possession gap that adds up over 40 minutes of play. On the other side, you have Jalik Dunkley, who's the most consistent piece for Nichols at 13.5 points and 7 boards a game. You got Z Hamoda, who can space it with just over 2 threes a game. But Nichols is being outscored by nearly 3 points per contest. They allow just over 76 points a game. They simply don't defend at a high enough level to slow down a disciplined Lamar team that will control the tempo in this one and will win by at least 3 points.
All right, I like that play. I'm going to keep it on the hardwood here. I'm going to go with Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And I have them winning by 2 points here. The line is minus 1.5 there. It was at 2.5. And so now it's kind of falling down to minus 1.5. So I like it into my favor here at minus 110. But I look at this Texas A&M Corpus Christi team. They're on the road. And so that's why we're not getting as big of an edge. But realistically, they're looking to be a top 4 seed in the Southland Conference compared to, Southeastern Louisiana. They're 8-20 on the season. Those dudes are done. Like they're ready to be done with the season. They're not going to go far even if they do continue to win or do anything great. This season is a wrap. But the biggest thing about this, the Islanders, who is Texas A&M Corpus Christi, their advantage is going to be on the defensive end, playing against a very thin rotation for Louisiana there. And so I like this game 67-62. So not a high scoring affair, very low scoring in the 60s, but Texas A&M Corpus Christi, the Islanders, to go ahead and get the win for us today. So I love all the mascots for these non-big teams. We're not the Eagles or the Lions or the Islanders.
I was just thinking to myself, so do you know the Lamar mascot? I'll say
it's not the Roadrunner, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. The Cardinals.
Okay.
But as you were giving your play, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's the Corpus Christi Islanders? Where else are people getting breakdowns on the Texas A&M Corpus Christi game and the Lamar Cardinals versus Nichols?
Yeah, Nate's saying it should be the Lamar Odoms. I don't know. You remember was it the dog? Was it the dog Odie? Was he with Garfield? That's what they should be, is Lamar Odies. That would make me funny. Is there a mascot out there that is that you're like, all right, I always see this. This is my favorite. Is there one out there for you? Because like so mine, which I actually put my when I was in college, I was looking to go to somewhere and I saw the Horned Frogs. This is way back in the day.
Yeah.
I loved their mascot. I loved the Horned Frog. I thought it was really cool. I wanted to go there. I was trying to think. I always enjoyed the Road Runners and stuff like that. I thought it was interesting. Any of those for you?
It's so weird because like with college, it's always you've got the birds, the bears, the lions, the tigers. Oh my, I feel like you start to go down that path. Um, it's it's the weird ones
Yes.
for me that I find just hilarious,
Okay.
and that I gravitate to. I give my brother-in-law so much crap over the Virginia Tech Hokies because what the hell is a
Yeah. What's a
Hokie? It's a
Hokie?
turkey, is what it boils down to.
Is
It,
it?
it is a turkey.
Oh,
So
okay. Hold on.
so why don't you just call them the gobblers? You know what I mean? Why don't you
Yeah.
don't make it stupid?
I had no idea. No idea. And speaking of turkeys, we had this discussion in my household. There's an all-girls school, like a little private school, not too far here in Memphis, and their mascot is the turkeys. And my wife was like, I would be so mad, especially over the years, that like we're the turkeys. We're a bunch of it's a girls' school being the turkeys. It doesn't make sense. And so at this point, like, why wouldn't they have somebody change their name to be let's be the peacocks or the flamingos? Like, oh, it has to be something else because calling a bunch of girls a bunch of turkeys, like it's kind of funny. I
I
would change
think
it.
I listen. You talk about fun names and fun mascots. I think for me, the UC Irvine Anteaters
That's a good one.
is it is a great one,
Yeah.
and then you have UC Santa Barbara, home of the Gauchos,
Okay.
which is another fun one.
Yep.
I think that yeah, I tend to gravitate towards those that are not the more traditional in their approach to choosing mascots.
Yeah, for sure. And Kim's saying the blue blob for Xavier. I know they're the
The
Musketeers,
Musketeer, yeah,
but why is it were named the best mascots prior to last season's March Madness? The blue blob and the Musketeer were. I don't I don't know about the blue blob, I guess.
I don't either.
I don't either. But I do know about Western Kentucky. They have that big red guy. He might be the red guy. I don't know what he is. But you know what I'm talking about? The big his eyes are like on the top of his head.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah,
I don't know.
yes, yeah. He
I
looks
just
like
remember
the
they made their helmets out of it and they put just the eyes. I thought that was awesome. Anyway, just fun. Whatever.
the Western Kentucky Grimace.
Yes, it looks like the Grimace.
Kind of like Grimace.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I thought about that. This is off the rails. We get it, Joe. We apologize, and you're welcome. All in the same thing. But as Nate's saying, banana slugs. I've never seen that. I've never
seen that.
I know that minor league baseball. Speaking of baseball, we'll get into all of that and what we're doing with that eventually at some point. Hopefully, it's going to be a lot of fun. This baseball season should be, especially for weekday wagers, will be our best one, as well as justthatsports.com will be the best one, so far. But I'm excited. But minor league baseball has some of the best nicknames for sure.
Oh,
and
God.
so we'll get through all those. I do want to play a game sometime to have y'all, maybe guess the nicknames of like what the actual nickname is. We're gonna do that eventually.
I'm sensing a possible top 5.
Oh, that would be a good one. Oh, these top 5s are great. All right, well, let's get back to hockey because I know a lot of people were talking about the game and what was surrounding, I guess, the fallout a little bit. But let's keep it before overtime.
Okay.
What were your thoughts? Because watching the game, they get the early goal by Matt Boldy, and then eventually, they tie it up. Canada ties it up. But the whole time we're all texting that like, oh my God, like USA cannot just sit back. They got to get some shots up. And even though they did give up a goal, I believe it was in the second period. I believe it was the third period. They looked a little better. They still were on the defense, but they looked a little better. Do you think that was just Canada is just that good, or do you think maybe it's the game plan for US?
I think Probably a little bit of both,
Okay.
in the sense that, yeah, Canada is that damn good.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's not taking anything away from Team Canada. They are that damn good. And so I think the natural response is okay, we have the lead. let's we don't have to take and be overly aggressive and kind of create opportunities for them to counter with.
Right.
Let's play conservative, and I think that that's really what hurt the USA team. I think the
Mm.
USA team could have scored more goals, but they stopped shooting the puck. I mean, I after that second period, I was losing my mind. I'm screaming at the team, just shoot the damn puck. You gotta shoot the puck to score. And they were making these, cross ice passes and trying to set up their teammates instead of looking to put the puck on goal.
Right.
And that almost hurt them. I think for the majority of the third period, they were really playing on their heels as opposed to the Canadians who were really pushing the pace,
Yeah.
dictating the tempo. And yeah, I think we were very lucky to get out of that one.
Yeah, and I think if you look at it, like I was seeing what US was doing, and this is from a very novice hockey guy. Like I was watching and I was like, they were trying to get it going, but there was just no room. It just seemed like they were just like a step behind the entire time because Canada is that big. Canada was that quick on the ice. Like they were just, it was going to be hard to beat them. You were going to take less shots. You were just hoping to catch them off guard at some point. And I think that's early on. That's what Boldy did. But also, they just put one in the back of the net. And eventually, like you hope that you can just kind of hold on long enough. And Hellebuck is just standing on his head throughout the entire time, and he did. And I shout out to him for having one of the best runs as a goalie. Would this be in the top 5 of all of the goalie, I guess, performances that you have ever seen? Just not just this game. I'm talking about the whole run through the tournament.
Yeah, I think it would. The only thing I would put an asterisk by this
Okay.
one is, I saw, my goodness, Hellebuck shut down Celebrini, who had a breakaway, and Connor McDavid on a breakaway.
Right.
They, those two guys, to be able to shut them out is a phenomenal task in and of itself.
Yeah.
I do think with the McDavid breakaway, though, we did see where that 3 feet of shorter rink came into play.
Mm,
And I think that, these guys are operating on such a gut instinct that when they get a breakaway, they their internal clock, right? They know how
yeah.
fast they're skating. Their internal clock is going off. Okay, I have to get that juke in. I have to make that move right now. And McDavid was already on top of Hellebuck when that happened for him. If he would have had an additional 3 feet of ice, he would have had plenty of time to really put a move on Hellebuck. So I think that 3 feet shorter rink saved us with that one. But without a question, this has got to be a top 5 goalie performance.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes size matters. And so that's kind of where we're at, is it just ran out of room. And
That's the next T-shirt, by the way.
I loved watching. I love watching it, and it was a good. It was a good game just overall. But let's talk about the overtime, because I've seen some rumblings out of Canadian land that they are not happy and say that the gold medal game should not have a 3-on-3 overtime.
Yeah.
What say you?
Listen, Canada fully embraced the 3-on-3 overtime in the Four Nations tournament when it came down to that. So,
Right.
as far as I'm concerned, Canada, you didn't have a problem with it then. You can't have a problem with it now. It is what it is. I understand. And listen, there's probably nothing more difficult than a team who has to keep their composure and try to put on a appreciative front for just losing a gold medal game to your
Right.
biggest rival, and then have to accept that silver medal in front of them. It just breeds contempt, and I think that just is brewing over, and Canadian fans and the team alike, coaches, from coaches down to players, We get it. You didn't win. On paper, should you? Do you have the better team?
Probably.
Debatable. Probably should have won it.
Yeah.
But you didn't.
Right.
And that's why we play the game.
And we see Nate's here saying sour poutine by Canadians.
By the way,
sure.
that's really good, by the way.
Is it?
Oh,
poutine?
yeah.
Is it poutine? Is that right?
Yeah, poutine. Yeah.
What do you make of this? He said it turns out America's depth came through. Third line wingers, no idea what that means. Third line defender, no idea what that means. Beat the nuclear three, no idea what that means. In overtime.
Yeah. So he's absolutely right. The U.S. did not have the top two line people as wingers or defensemen out. They really went to the core group in that third line. Jack Hughes. I'm trying to think who else was out there, but you didn't have the Austin Matthews. You didn't have the Kachuk brothers. They weren't out there in overtime. You were dealing with that third line who had been excellent at shutting down the Canadian top three. I mean, for all of his athleticism, the skill set that a guy like Connor McDavid brings to the table.
Right.
We were able really to keep him in check, and he never really hurt us overall throughout the entire game.
Yeah. He's saying Larkin, Werenski,
and Werenski were the other ones. Yeah.
To which I saw that this, like the last four, I guess the three, and then the goalie were all from Michigan. Is that right? Or Minnesota or Michigan? Minnesota.
I think Minnesota.
That they're literally the last four of anything that was good that came out of Minnesota. But I believe that's the rumor. There might have been who scored the game-winning goal from the women? Keller?
Oh, Hillary, yes, or Keller scored the winning goal in overtime.
Keller, yeah. I hear she's the only woman because she's from Minnesota as well. So, of course, Minnesota.
Don't even get me started.
Dominance.
Stupid Minnesota basketball team cost me going back to back in the saloon last week. So don't even start.
Anyway, but yeah, I think that you look at the 3-on-3. I enjoyed that 3-on-3, and I know a lot of people that might be true OG NHL fans, true hockey fans will not enjoy it as much. I do think it's a different game. Let me just say that the 5-on-5 and the 3-on-3 is completely different.
I'll say this: if the Canadians are pissed off over going on 3-on-3, how about being pissed off that they were 5-on-3?
Yes.
For a power play. Yeah. They were 5-on-3 power played, and they got shut down. Okay. So don't get pissed over a 3-on-3. You should be pissed that on 5-on-3, you didn't tally a single goal. That's ridiculous.
I love it. And last question here as we talk about hockey. Now that the U.S. women have they're dominating, right? They're completely dominating the hockey, and it showed. Even though that game was really good, it came down, to the very end. It was really good, right? But they've been dominating year after year. U.S. men have not. Is it safe to say that United States owns hockey now?
Who would argue against that? That just is a ludicrous statement. I mean, okay, Captain Obvious. Thanks for joining the party.
The way you said, okay, Captain Obvious, it got me because, obviously, I know this is a kind of a bit, but I'm like, all right, that actually makes sense. I look at this and I know that United States, especially men, are not going to be the best at hockey forever, but they were this year. And maybe they aren't the best players. If you lined them up, they would not be the first team that was picked. But in the end of the day, they win. I love that we do have the rivalry. I would say we'll call it a little bit with the Canadians with hockey. I believe that would be a rivalry because if you see in basketball, it's kind of turned where it's U.S. versus the world in a sense. But I think you could look at a few countries, and kind of measure that up. But really, it's been I think Russia has been really good at hockey, right? And then Canada, but also there's other countries that are good. But I
Right.
love that it is U.S. and Canada, and I wouldn't say it's a mean rivalry. I wouldn't call it a friendly rivalry, but I think it's a really good rivalry between our countries in hockey.
It is no doubt a very healthy
Healthy,
rivalry
very good.
that is there between the two. And I will say this, you look at the Canadian national team, right? You look at the age of that Canadian national team versus who they were playing as a
Yes.
US team and the youth. I
Mm,
think that we are putting together a contingent of young hockey players that are coming up who can play at this level on a world stage
yeah.
and feel comfortable doing so. I found it interesting that you have a guy like Sidney Crosby, who at his age was like, they got to have him on the team, versus a guy like Connor Bedard,
Mm,
who was left sitting home to watch the Olympics. How Connor Bedard did not make the Canadian hockey team, I will never understand because
yeah.
they could have used somebody like a Bedard who has the skill set to lift pucks, elevate pucks and shots. And one of the things that we track, and this is going to get real nerdy for just 1 second, is the height of the shot on goal. So is it above 18 inches or below 18 inches? And believe it or not, that matters simply because the more shots you have under 18 inches, the higher the likelihood that they get blocked. So you're looking for players who can elevate the puck and get it above that 18-inch mark because that is usually where the elbow is on a
Mm.
goalie. So now you're looking at shots to go over his shoulder. So and
And that
Bedard is one of the best
I get
at
it.
elevating pucks. So
Yeah.
that's where that whole full circle comes back to, is he's one of the best. So
I get it. I understand it, but man, that is a lot of work that I would not be comfortable putting in. But I love it. I'm glad that you're on my team, or I'm on your team, or we're on the same team, something like that. Either way. But yeah, it's been fun. And the Olympics as a whole, enjoy it.
oh yeah. Oh my God.
Okay.
Listen, I gave curling a lot of grief simply because of the yelling, but after I saw Team Canada, I think they got it. Not they got banned.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
know
so
they
the guy
they
who
they
was
were just
cheating,
pushing just a little that extra push.
and the women's team got caught cheating.
Same. Yes.
So it's Canada. You're on notice, my friends.
For sure.
Clean your house up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the different sports, the speed skating. I think. Listen, if I would never sit down on a weekend and be like, "Hey, there's a huge speed skating
Right. Right.
invitational taking place," but during the Olympics, I mean, that
Yeah.
is one of the most dangerous and fascinating sports that you can sit there and. I got engrossed with it and was surprised that people aren't losing more limbs or getting more eyes gouged out like that. Yeah, it was very intense. I thought overall, well done, Italy. Well done.
Yeah, I thought it was a good Olympics as a whole, and I don't think that there was too much negativity coming out of it. I know there was some, but in the end of the day, I don't look for the negative, and I guess negative in anything, so I don't really care too much about it. But I enjoyed.
Says the guy with the petty machete teeth.
Okay, I can be petty. Doesn't mean I'm looking for the negative. But shout out to Miss Kim who was able to help me out. This is my petty machete shirt I designed, and she helped me recreate. We're working on maybe getting some kind of a store or something going. We'll figure it out eventually. I know there's not like a huge rush to buy anything, but we're looking through different ways to get our merch somewhat going, and little by little, it's never going to be a money maker. That's not what it's about.
That's
It's
right.
about just having fun as a brand as a whole with everybody. So that's the idea. So that's the plan. You'll see more stuff come through eventually, and you're never going to beat the designs that we have, because some out there, whatever they're doing is
And
fine.
and
I wouldn't.
honestly, if somebody's favorite T-shirt or favorite hoodie or sweatshirt, their most comfortable, their go-to,
Yeah,
just happens to have one of our logos on it or of one of our designs on it, it's just a win-win.
just a win-win. All right. Well, Mark, I need a Mark looks like shirt with his face on it. I just don't know. Could we change the sayings on it? Like, is there like could we make it electronic where it'd be like Mark looks like, and then like underneath of it, electronic says mall shopper, a lost mall shopper. That'd be favorite. That's my favorite.
A randomizer that you can always
exactly.
change this on day to day. Yeah, that'd be
Exactly.
great.
And then Robbie, we had to get some cutoff shirts for him for sure. So we'll figure that out one way or the other. But the Olympics were fun. I'm glad it's kind of over because it has been fun, but I'm glad to get back to normal, like the normalcy of it. With now the NBA is finally somewhat back, even though tonight's games are gross. The NCAA tournament, I believe I saw that there's 26 days until March Madness. I don't know what you would consider March Madness. Is that the conference games? Is that whatever? But I saw somebody put out a number. We're 30-ish days away for MLB baseball, the opening day, which is the first game on March 25th. I'm excited about all of this. We're going to have so much fun doing this. We're going to try to do some daily dinger, which obviously you see light the lamp. There's no hockey right now, so we can't do that right now. But the daily dinger will be here. Also, we're going to try to do some shorts that will give you the daily dinger early on. And then we'll be able to finalize it more as we get closer to the show in the afternoon. So there's going to be a difference, but we're going to make sure that we're having some fun and getting content out there for everybody. But
we got a huge contest coming up for this Major League Baseball season. So if you can correctly guess the total number of wins that the LA Dodgers and the Chicago White Sox combined will register on this season, you'll win $100.
Nice. Where would they put that in at?
So we're working on the delivery mechanism.
Perfect. All right. Well, go ahead and get ready. Whenever that happens, we'll make sure it's here before the MLB opening day. But that's all we got. It was fun. I wanted to talk more about the hockey because I wanted to give it its just due because the women were awesome, the men were awesome, and 2 golds in ice hockey. That's never been done in the U.S. And so we had to celebrate both. I thought it was awesome. So anyway, that's all we have today for the show. But Tuesday we'll be back here. Robbie will be back. I know that he is in the comments. I know he is mad that he wasn't able to be here to celebrate properly, but he was celebrating still. Maybe by himself at times at his house early in the morning, yelling at the TV, but he was still celebrating either way. But
waking the fam up.
Yeah, waking everybody up. All right, get out of the house. I need to watch this game. But thank you all for hanging out with us in the chat as always. Hopefully today is your best day and hopefully make your day just a little bit better. But we'll see you all tomorrow.